name's Spanner. Dick Spanner. Private investigator. It was midnight. The streets were empty. It had been raining cats and dogs. Now it was just raining. The big pair was sleeping. It was the kind of night I just knew nothing was going to happen.
It's the wrong guy.
It was time to hit the sack. The sharp stab of pain made me realize it was a dumb move. So I headed for my office in a crummy block on the east side of the wrong side. I took the elevator up to the 14th floor. My office is on the 15th, but that's another story. Now, where was the key? Damn. It was a stick of celery. Then I saw the door was already open. This dame was standing by the window, toting a big piece of luggage. She was all woman. She looked like she'd been poured into the dress she had on, and someone had forgot to say when. She had the kind of eyes that followed you around a room. They came out on stalks. I introduced myself. My name's Spanner. Dick Spanner. She wanted me to find her man. I asked her man who? She said his name was Harry. Seems he worked in a circus. Human Cannonball. Then he'd been fired. 2 nights ago, he disappeared. Maybe I felt sorry for her. She was a lonely chick in a big city. I took the case. I was back out on the street. I wondered what the hell she had in this thing. It felt like lead. That reminded me, I was down to my last $2.
What's up, Dick?
It was around that time I walked into this bar. Of all the bars in all the world, I had to walk into this one.
No way, Buster. No way. No.
I'd been on the case for over an hour and was still looking for my first lead. The piano player was giving out with a 10-finger rag. Difficult when you got 30 fingers. At the back, they were drinking scotch on the rocks. Dude at the end was sporting a 10-gallon hat. Trouble was, he had a 2-pint head.
Shut up.
The barman looked like Bela Lugosi with acne. I called him over to pay the tab.
Coming, sir.
Damn. It was a salami on rye. Well, we can't win them all. Outside, it was still raining. I tried to piece it all together. Harry, the human cannonball, the case, the dame. But nothing made sense.
What do you mean I dropped it? Get out of here.
He must have been waiting for me. The pizza stains down his shirt spelt mob. He'd brought along 2 of his gorillas. Together, they spelled trouble. His hand was like a pound of wet fish. He said he was going to make me an offer I couldn't refuse. $1,000 to forget the whole thing. I told him I'd consider it. So that was $1,000. a grand piano. Needed tuning. It was flat. So was a piano player. He'd play the 10-finger rag all the way down. Some guys never learn. Then I made another dumb move. I decided to open the case. It was ticking like a cheap watch. I figured I had around 10 seconds before the big bang. I knew then it was going to be one of those nights. It was a bang, all right, but the kind I wasn't expecting. There was a note. It said, "You could have been dead, Spanner. That's once." Someone was trying to give me the scares. I decided to go back to the bar. I needed answers fast. I was looking for a snitch by the name of Squealer. The joint was crowded. The usual dumb bimbos. Some dunkhead was just leaving. Looked like he'd been into the bubbly. In a clip joint like this, it had cost him an arm and a leg. A weirdo in a corner was blowing his top. Squealer was sitting alone. The guy had a face like 2 miles of broken road. I joined him. He was a rat and a fink, but I needed to know about Harry the human Cannonball and who was trying to rub me out. He said he'd ask around, but it had cost me 10 in advance. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. A banana. Well, you win some, you lose some. The following morning, the sun came up right on time. I was sleeping it off in my office. Another day for the big pair. A dozen bonkos were beating out a crazy tune in my head. Then I remembered the bottle of rye I'd had as a nightcap. I knew I was drinking too much. Some guys get ulcers. With me, it's rust. Things were starting to swing, but I had an appointment. Squealer was waiting at the corner of 5th and Main. I asked him what the word was out on the street. He wouldn't tell me. The guy was scared. I didn't like the little creep, but you had to admire the way he bounced right back. But this time the Squealer had gone to pieces. Another dead end. Someone had tipped off the cots. I figured it was time to blow the scene. When I came back to the office, O'Grady was waiting, a lieutenant from the 10th Precinct. He discovered a dead Mexican. The guy under the cover was an undercover man. I needed to do some fast talking. But O'Grady wouldn't listen. He said he was booking me for Murder 1. I told him I didn't know any Juans, but he wouldn't buy it. Then, I got the picture. I was being framed. Then I made another dumb move. I decided to run for it. I'd seen a dumb jerk jump off the top of the Frisco building. He'd scream blue murder all the way down. I wasn't going to yell, but I needed to find a way out and fast. Then I remembered the Zippo miniature parachute I'd bought out some lunch in a bar. German limbo dancing by Unter der Bar. Jump-N-G Hosifer. How many times can you be wrong? The street was coming up fast. A fall like this could really loosen my nuts. There was only one thing left to do.
Help!
Mamma mia! Macaroni, pizzerama.
The citizen I landed on went by the name of Luigi. He was always a soft touch. Now he was screaming for me to get off his back. The guy was in a mess. I told him to shape up. His arm was all busted to hell. I wasn't feeling so great myself. I needed to lie low for a while. It was a basement apartment on the mean side of the wrong side of the track. I was lying about as low as I could get. Her name was May East. When she moved, it was like watching a sack full of bowling balls. She said she had something for me. Help me loosen up. Make me feel good. Jump-N-G Hosifer. May wanted to give me a lube job. I said I'd take a rain check. I figured it was a bad time to get oiled. But May was a sweet kid. She said I could come down and see her anytime. May's engine was starting to rev. It was time to make tracks. Another hot night in the Big Pear. I was back out, pounding the sidewalk. This guy was waiting at the corner of Ventura and 6th. He was an animal. Said his name was Bomb. Looking at it another way, it spelled mob. He was one of Mendoza's goons and looked ready to cut me up good. I went for my .45 with a hair trigger. Jump-N-G Hosifer. A Zippo miniature parachute. Where was it when I needed it? The goon had heard the fuzz wagon, too. Where the hell had he gone? Then I saw it. He'd taken a powder. I decided to leave likewise. It was late. The city was sleeping. Mendoza was out to get me. My guess was he'd make a move pretty soon. It was around that time I heard it. Coming right at me. The press was onto it like a shot.
Wait, this is a scoop.
As I walked over, I could see he was very dead. The stiff had been yelling in Spanish as he flew by. It made sense. He was wearing a sombrero and stank of chili con carne. Another Mexican rubbed out. That made 2 dead ones. It was Lieutenant O'Grady. I thought about making a run for it, but he was toting a rod. Also, the undercover man had a gun in my back. O'Grady told me to get him up. Another dumb move. Caught red-handed. Tough break. I was in trouble. Big trouble. They took me down to the grill room at the 16th Precinct Fuzz Palace, but they weren't serving up no steaks. O'Grady was trying to nail me to a bum rap, but all he had on me were the dead bodies. We both knew they wouldn't stand up in court. I told him I needed to be on the outside to solve the case. I asked for a couple of days, but O'Grady wasn't buying. He said he'd only give me 48 hours. So I was back out on the street. I figured O'Grady would have put a tail on me. Guess I was wrong about the tail. It was just a kid. Things were quiet. Too quiet. I decided to go see the fat man. He lived on a back street off Main Street. His name was Side Street. Nothing happened in the big pair that the fat man didn't know about. He knew the score. He'd been playing Schubert. He just finished the Unfinished Symphony. He didn't need no music. Like I said, he knew the score.
Mr. Spanner.
The fat man charged by the minute, so I did some fast talking. I told him the whole damn thing from the beginning. About the girl and Harry. How Mendoza was out to get me. And about all the dead Mexicans. When I was through, he pointed to a sign on the wall. Made sense. But check out what? Maybe the note he was writing would tell me.
I think you will need this.
It was the bill. Consultancy fee, $250. Payable immediately. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. An open can of red paint. Messy. Before I left, the fat man gave me a new lead. And a dog to go with it. I needed a drink. The mutt wanted to go to the Silver Lamppost, but I led him to the Golden Brick. It was a hole-in-the-wall kind of dive, but the booze was free if you played the tables. It was a joint where money talked. It said goodbye. I made for the bar. Funny thing, as you get older, every barman starts to look the same. I grabbed a stool and ordered 3 fingers. I'd left a dog with a hat-check girl. I was trying to figure out why she'd call me Tiger when I saw the manager heading over.
Hi, Dickie.
I know his type.
Do you want some of this?
Like the nudist who sat on a bee's nest.
You're liking the chips?
The smart ass. He said his name was Truck. Peter Truck. He offered me some chips on the house.
Lots more money.
I told him I didn't like heights. Come to think of it, I didn't like French fries either. Some dumb jerk was still on the wheel. I figured I'd try roulette.
What you want him for? He's a
The croupier said to place my bet. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was wholemeal. I put it all on 13 black. Well, easy come, easy go. $13 black. Could be unlucky.
Over here, Tiger.
I'd been hit. I'd heard of shooting a picture, but this picture was shooting back. How was I going to get out of this one? I figured I'd made another dumb move. An hour later, when I was back on my feet, I saw someone had pumped the cowboy painting full of lead. That had saved my hide. O'Grady called me aside. I called him Lieutenant O'Grady. He told me to get my shoulder fixed. It sounded like sound advice. So I headed for May East Department on the wrong side of the east side. May had taken care of the slug in my shoulder. She was a dab hand with a soldering iron. Something about the whole damn case was bugging me. Then as I lay there, I saw it. The big top. Sure, a circus. Harry the human Cannonball would have worked in a circus. Why hadn't I figured it out before? Jumpin' Jehoshaphat! There it was. The only circus in town. I decided to check it out in the morning. It was a bad night to be out with a dog like this. I needed a drink. It was late. The guy at the end of the bar had been on a bender. I knew the feeling. The barman was cleaning the place up. Some of the local kids had been breakdancing. I was thinking about my next move when I heard it. The drunk at the inn was gone. So was the dog. An electric shaver and a mess of dog hair. It's crazy. Why in tarnation would anybody shave a dog? I ordered another shot while I tried to figure it out. The barman said one was enough. What the hell did he mean by that? Pretty soon, I got the answer. I was getting the giddies. Then I saw the barman's name was Finn. Right. Guess his first name was Mickey. It was around that time that my lights went out. Another dumb move. When I came to, 100 zebras were running around in the back of my skull. The big man doing the talking was Mendoza. He told me I'd been warned and this was the end of the line. He said something about 3 minutes to live. I didn't think he looked that sick. Mendoza was leaving. I would have gone with him, but I was all tied up. The spiked drink had scrambled my brains, but I noticed something strange on the wall. There was a switch and a 3-minute timer. Maybe someone soft-boiled eggs down here. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat! The ceiling was coming down. It was then I smelled a rat. It wasn't Mendoza who had a couple of minutes to live. It was yours truly. I was in the hot seat, about to be crushed and fried. Or maybe fried and crushed. Some choice, huh? If you figure this is the end, you could be right. And what else was going down? Oh, yeah. The ceiling. There's only a few seconds left on the clock. It was a cheap way to curl your hair, but 10 million volts would melt my nuts. Nothing happened. Maybe someone had blown a fuse. It was Mendoza. He told me why waste electricity. In a few seconds I'd be crushed. I had to admit he was right. The ceiling was coming down fast. It was locked and solid steel. Then I remembered the Zippo miniature acetylene cutter I'd won in a poker game. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was a sandwich. Tuna and cucumber. A tough break. I hated cucumber. What a way to go. They wouldn't have to carry me into the morgue. They could slide me in under the door. A flat foot. I'd recognize it anywhere. It had to be Lieutenant O'Grady. I was under arrest for being drunk in charge of a bald dog. O'Grady was reading the riot act. Then he threw the book at me. I asked the lieutenant how he tracked me down. He showed me the tail he'd put on me. I should have spotted that, except it was striped. Anyway, it was a lucky break. There was nothing they could hold me on. I was free to go. So I was back out on the street. I had some of the answers, but a lot of loose ends. This time I wanted to be sure I wasn't followed. There was no one in sight. Then I checked for a tail. What the hell was that on my back? Two highballs, a straight scotch and a rocks, and 4 beers. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, that sneaky flatfoot O'Grady was keeping tabs on me. I'd taken a Greyhound to the edge of town. It was a rough ride, but I was following the only lead I had. And there it was. Senior Arlova's Flying Circus. There didn't seem to be anyone around. And someone called me over. It was Senior Arlova. There was something kind of familiar about him. I tried to figure out where I'd seen him before. He invited me to step aboard. I said, why not? I asked him where he'd last seen Harry the Human Cannonball. All of us said we'd take a little trip, and he'd tell me the whole story. I'd noticed a secret signal to the smartass for the bow and arrow. But when the balloon went up, I figured Arlova was going to be right there with me. The old hole in the bottom of the basket trick. I'd fallen for it. I had the feeling I knew exactly what was going to happen next. There was only one thing left to do. Someone help me! When I hit the ground, I'd be a basket case. It was time to get out of there. It was another dumb move. Now I was falling faster than the dumb balloon. But maybe I'd be lucky just one time. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. A miniature acetylene cutter. Wrong Zippo. How jinxed can a private eye be? Grr. I was about to land on something big and striped. What an entrance! I'd landed on the big top. For a guy who can't stand heights, I'd fallen on my feet. I had to think about it. Then I got the message. Play on words, right? How wild can you get? I went for my piece. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat, a piece of lousy cake. But the guy in the cage wouldn't know I wasn't holding a .45 with a hair trigger. All right, open up or I start pumping lead. I knew the face. Ex-fighter. Boxed under the name of Mohammed Elvis. He invited me to step inside. So that's what happened to the pooch. The bum had been a contender once. Now his brains were scrambled and he was a lush. That's all I needed. A punch-drunk drunk. He told me Harry the human cannonball had headed south, maybe across the border. That's all he knew. Someone had swiped his tiger tail. That rang a bell. I didn't mention it. Carew might start swinging punches. As I left, I told him he could keep the shaven mutt. The way he was drinking, he'd need it. The hair of the dog, right? In the big pear, it had been raining. So what else was new? The city was sleeping. Things were quiet. Too quiet. I decided to head back to the office. I took the elevator to the 16th floor. My office was on the 10th. I figured it was time I started thinking on a different level. It was getting to be a rough ride. I made a note to bawl out the janitor. I guess I should have figured something was wrong when my ears popped. I was on the 1,032nd floor. And that's when I made another dumb move. I decided to get out and walk. That was either one hell of a first step or I was in serious trouble. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was trouble. I tried for my Zippo miniature parachute one last time. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. A .45 with a hair trigger. Wrong again. I couldn't shoot my way out of this fix. Well, I guess I've done a lot of falling over the years. I recall one time I fell for this tall chick from French Lick, Indiana. Something was coming up. It looked like the top of a building. Then I made another dumb move. I hit the roof. The first citizen I dropped in on started yelling blue murder. But I told him I was just passing through. In the next apartment, some chick was taking a bath. I would have soaped her back, but there wasn't time. The couple on 17 were throwing a wild party, and I mean wild. No one noticed me. It was a real shaker. For once, my luck was in. I landed smack on my own damn couch. It broke my fall. All I needed now was a little shut-eye. What I didn't realize at the time was the elevator was still up there someplace. Quiet! I'm trying to sleep up here. Some people got no class. When I woke, someone was giving me the fish eye. It was that sneaky Flatfoot O'Grady. He said he was arresting me for flying an elevator without a license, landing within the city limits without permission, and 10 counts of break-in and malicious damage. Tough rap. I was back in custody at the old 16th. O'Grady had stuck me in a lineup. The lieutenant told the witnesses to take their time. The first freak picked out the red-headed look-alike. The chick from the bath was still in a lather. O'Grady was getting mad. The party from the party picked out the one in the middle. That did it. No one fingered me in the lineup. O'Grady had made me empty my pockets, but he didn't find nothing unusual, so he said I was free to go. I collected my stuff fast before he changed his mind. I was feeling pretty good. Maybe things were looking up. But I figured that was no reason to press my luck. It was around that time I got this feeling. It was trouble, and it was close. But what the hell was it? Well, whatever it was getting even closer. You hear it? Even the rats could smell trouble. Then I saw it. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. If there's one thing that really gives me the scares, this was it. Then it grabbed me. And there was nothing I could do. Hell's bells. I could wind up the only PI in the city with magnetic nuts. I was positive about one thing. This hunk of magnetized metal was giving me negative vibes. It looked like I was up for grabs. I always figured the Big Pear was a swinging city, but this was way over the top. I really didn't like hanging around like this. But now something was going down. Yours truly. Then things opened up. I was taking a slow dive here. It was the old head in the bucket routine. Sloppy landing. Then I shot a knucklehead in the corner. No go. Thinking about it another way, he spelled goon. He had me covered with a violin case. He'd noticed the bulge in my damn pocket. He told me to take out my piece. Nice and easy. No sweat. Boy, would he be surprised when I came out with something like a stick of celery. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. My .45 with a hair trigger. The one time I needed to be wrong, I was right. Oh, no, not that. It was an out-of-tune fiddle. The goon was going to screech me to death. I just couldn't take it, but there was nothing I could do. What a way to go. I was coming apart at the wells. Suddenly, the rod was back in my mitt. Could be my magnetic attraction. The knucklehead had taken the slug in the G-string. Messy. Just to make sure, I let him have one in the guts. I'd taken a flight from the stone room. It was some climb. Aha! Take two. Aha! It was Sydney Side Street's place of business. The fat man wasn't home. I decided to case the joint. I didn't know it at the time, but I was a walking magnet here. Ha! Just exactly as I figured. Nothing. The fat man was too smart an operator to leave any clues lying around. Another dead end. So, I was back out on the street. It was around that time I got this feeling I was being tailed. Again. There was no one. Things were quiet. Too quiet.
That's a gas pipe, honey.
Shut up, Bill Green, and pass me the blowtorch.
This pounding the streets was getting to be heavy going. It was late. The city was sleeping. I needed a drink. I was about to go into the bar when I felt a nip in the air. I could see it wasn't no high-flying citizen from Japan. Another damn Mexican. Someone had sure hung one on. It was a one-way ticket to Belucaville, Mendoza Airlines. Place of departure, El Paso de Salto. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. I knew right then the answer to the whole damn case was south of the border. Down Mexico way. I'd taken a Greyhound across the border. It had been one hell of a ride. I guess I'll never learn. It was late, but still damn hot. What I needed was a long, cool beer. It was a no-horse town in the middle of nowhere. I headed for the bar. The joint was jumping. Made sense. It was full of Mexican has-beens. I knew enough of the local lingo to get by. I gave out with a good knob on the hair-over. I'd seen the hair-over before, but I couldn't place him. I ordered ein Stein und ein Wurst mit Sauerkraut on rye bitte. The jerk didn't seem to catch my meaning. Dumb as a sack of rocks. He poured me a shot of the local brew. Why not? Danke. Hell, bells. Tasted like it was made out of cactus. I mean, spiky. But I didn't let on. I said it was wunderbar. I decided to hit the assembled citizens with a couple of questions. Like, var ist her Harvester, the human cannonball? All I got was dumb cop looks. Well, you can't win them all. An hour and a couple of bottles later, I knew it was time to rush out of there. I threw one of the locals a good knock. He didn't say nothing. Dumb place to leave a rot. Couple of drunks were taking up the whole damn sidewalk. With these bimbos, I could be here all night. Now there were three of them. That reminded me. I'd been warned to lay out the chili down here. It was dynamite. I'd been sleeping it off when something woke me. It was coming from the window. Someone was out there in the dark. It was Wild Man Carew. He said the circus had moved south and he'd been fired. He sure as hell looked burned up about something. He told me he knew where to find Harry the Human Cannonball right now. The big top. I was about to get all the answers. As I moved, I spotted Senior all over. This time, I wasn't going to make no dumb play. Yeah, my 45 with a hair trigger. I was set, and so was the trigger. I called him out. I said, "It's all over. I told him this was the end of the line. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was Mendoza in all over his overcoat. And that ain't easy to say. He said to drop my rod. I was covered. I've looked down some barrels in my time. This one took the biscuit. Maybe it was the end of the line. For yours truly, big shooter. It was a bad time to lose my head. So? I was thinking about my next move when I was zapped by a block of ice. It was real cool. Then my lights went out. When I came to, my brain was spinning like crazy. Still didn't feel right in the head. But I turned around to take in the scene. I was inside the big top. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was a fat man. Sydney Side Street. All over, Mendoza and the fat man were all one and the same guy. I'd spotted the resemblance, but I'd figured they were identical triplets. The fat man waved me over. Something wasn't right here. Hell's bells. Things still weren't right, but I was getting there. The fat man had me cold, but he said he'd tell me the whole deal before he rubbed me out. Harry, the human cannonball, had worked in the flying circus. I said I knew that. Smart-ass manager was in on it, too. So was Wild Man Carew. I told him I didn't know that. It was a neat caper. illegal immigrants flying dumb Mexicans across the border. Only they didn't use no airplane. The stupid jerks got fired from the big gun. I only had one question. Where was Harry? Harriet? Harry? Wait a minute. Harry could be short for Harriet. Jumpin' Jehoshaphat. It was Harriet, the human cannonball. Well, you can't win them all.
Okay, this is a police raid. You're all under arrest.
It was a raid. Where the hell had O'Grady sprung from? It was about that time things got out of hand. Some bimbo started playing Rimsky's 1813 Underture. I figured I'd give the goon beside me the old 1-3. To this day, I still don't know how the hell I did that.
Coming right up.
This is over the top. Way over the top. The 7th Cavalry? Could be.
Prepare the ship for takeoff. Aye, Captain. Your engines are ready, Captain.
I was still trying to get my head straight when it hit me. I'd landed on 1 or 2 ones, but I was out of the firing line. Or was I? So I was flying home. O'Grady would clear up the mess, though he never did nail a fat man. Now, he was being taken for a ride. As for yours truly, although I didn't know it, I was already on my next case. Waiting in my office was a writ from a dude by the name of Too Tall Johnson. He'd been hit by an elevator, lost his standing in the community. The creep was suing me for loss of height. It'd take me up to Ivywood where they make the movies. But that really is another story.
You too, pal.
There it was ahead, the big pair. I could be in trouble when I landed. I didn't have no ticket.